The story I'm going to tell you now is that of abuse and how abuse can destroy relationships and a person's soul, especially the victims, right? So, what I'm talking about is emotional abuse, also known as psychological abuse and the mental abuse, which is a very insidious and most dangerous kind of abuse. You see, not that physical abuse isn't dangerous; that is itself is dangerous, yes. But a country is destroyed from the inside. You see, so from the inside out, a country can crumble without the help, without you even noticing. Right? So, this is how it works. Emotional abuse where is where the abuser, right, manipulates, right, and mess with someone's head, and tries to control their emotions so that they can control the relationship, right? Yes. So just as one would get to the steering wheel, right, to control the car, right? One would have to get inside a person's mind and control them. You see. So one example is like gaslighting, right? I still have to do more research on that, but please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But gaslighting is where where the abuser, right, will control a person's perception of things, the way the person sees things, the way the person interprets it, right? So it's basically making the victim, right, bend to your will mentally, and this is really dangerous, and it is really dangerous and wrong. So, for example, when your partner, right, has said something very terrible about you, you see, online, on whether it's social media, on the news, I don't know, and then you call it out, right, to her. You criticize her for it, but then they go in denial and say, but I didn't do this, I didn't do it, and I didn't do it, you made me do it. It's your fault, when it was never your fault in the first place. You never asked her to do it. You asked her to do it. You see, you didn't know she was going to do it. So how is it your fault? Yet she's blaming you. Yes, she's blaming you because she really just wants to jump ship of this conversation. She does not want to take accountability. So that's gaslighting. So to save themselves, this is what this is really cowardly. So so they'll use the right words, right, and or poke at the right emotions to make you believe that your reality, the way you've been thinking, right, even though that they've been doing, you both know it. You both know that she's called you out, right, or she said some bad things about you online. Yet tries to deny everything, or just guilt trips you, blames you for her actions, you see. But then, or maybe she'll just, call it, social justice or something. She'll make you believe that what she's doing was not wrong when it was. And this really messes with the head, you see. This makes gives you two conflicting ideas then, saying what she did was really wrong, but then the other belief that she put in your head is, well, she did it for a good cause, so yeah. Mm-mm. So why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because I you know I want to clear the air, like to make kind of raise awareness on this, I don't know because I really I'm not aware that I'm not sure if everyone knows this already because or maybe you do, but I want to share my story, you see, so that you can know what you're watching out for in relationships, you see. So yeah, so basically I was in a on a relationship, my first ever relationship, right, with a girl I met on Tinder, right. So um, it was mostly an online relationship. So um, we were talking and talking and all that, you see, but yeah, we're talking and talking, and it's been, for a good 2 months, you know. But the thing is that I was I trusted her with my emotions, like with my I was vulnerable to her, right? So, um, yeah, because I was really, going through a lot, especially, identity and insecurities, right? I wanted, someone to talk to and, to, you know, make sure, like, just to feel like I'm not alone or validated. So that's what I did. So, and then, once, yeah, she listened to all of these and all that, and even gave me some advice, and some helped, others some helped, but others didn't. It's fine, right? We are who we are, and, well, not everyone likes taking hot showers. Mm. So then one day I was complaining about how this is like how in my adulthood this is the only time that I ever got a girlfriend, you see. And I was just wondered why the other girls had rejected me. So I discussed this with her. First of all, she tried to make me feel good, saying that I was handsome and all that, you see. Then I think that's where she should have stopped, you see. Yes, and she should have stopped there, you know. But then here is the real kicker. She said that the reason I got rejected was due to my personal problems, the insecurities that I had, and this really hurts me. It's like she pinpointed my most sensitive insecurities and blamed them and for my being rejected. In my mind, she was basically saying she was basically saying it was all my faults that I got rejected. I didn't, it was just me being me, and then it was just me having insecurities that. But everyone has insecurities. If that was true, that no one would be in relationships. So this really hurts me, because there was some truth to it. You see, and but then months later I just realized that those insecurities had nothing to do with rejection and all that. It would ever because rejection is always the person who's doing the rejecting, it's their reason, you see. It has nothing to do with the person being rejected, you see. But but everything to do with because they're the ones doing the rejecting, and it has nothing to do with you or your problems. They just have preferences. They don't want to be in relationships right now, you know. Or maybe they're just healing from the past relationships and all that. You see, so insecurities, my ass. So, um, so yeah, continuing. Then, after, I got really, insecure and complained about these, flaws. And then she said they were normal, right? So how can you say that? But in my mind, how can you say that, that these things are the reason why, you know, I got rejected and then say they're normal. Like, what was she trying to get at here? So, um, so fast forward, she apologized, said she'd never do it again after I told her that I felt judged, you see. And, I quickly forgave her, you see, because I was so relieved that, she actually apologized and said she'd never do it again. All I wanted was to let her see my pain. So, yeah. And so, but then looking back, right? Um, but then after doing my research on emotional abuse, um, my ex-girlfriend, what she was doing was emotionally abusive because she tried to make me feel insecure, right? To control my perception of, dating, dating, you see, so that, she could keep me in the relationship. And then these, you know, you know and then when the abuser says, but it's normal, you see, it's completely normal. And this is also another part of the abuse, yeah, of the abuser, right? uh of emotional abuse, whereas they'll say that it's normal, and after they have you know made a negative comment about it. And then um and then when you call them out on it, they'll just go down on their knees and beg for your forgiveness, you see. Well, that's not what she did, but she just said she'll never do it again. But this is also what emotional abusers do. They will act like the victims after when they're caught, but then um so that they can keep you in a relationship. But this is really toxic. Psychological abuse is not it is not excusable. It's clear that my ex-girlfriend did not know she was doing this, you see, but it's still a bad thing, right? It's still a bad thing. And yeah, yeah, I think a few weeks after this we broke up, and simply because I wasn't in love with her. And 8 months later, right? For 8 months I was really starting to fear my own insecurities, especially the ones she's pointed out. And I really could not let myself feel have these insecurities, you see, although they kept happening again and again and again and again, right? So I was really suffering, right? So with especially with my own mind. But then there were good days when you know uh, there were good days when we my I was trying to make sense of what was going on, you see. So I was trying to rationalize this whole thing, make the story you know support me more. What she did was wrong, and what she said was bad, right? She claimed that she wasn't judging, but she was judging, you see. So I told myself that, and and all these things, right? All the red flags that I missed that I overlooked in our relationship, they start to come up one by one, right? So yes, these red flags were really present, and I kind of like excused them because we were in a relationship. Though I was not in love with her, I was still you know mm, I could not see them, you see. I think it was because I trusted her with my vulnerabilities, with my vulnerabilities. So yes, so I you, th- this kept haunting me. In the 8th month, January 2025, I started to um I called a friend of mine, a longtime friend of mine that I haven't spoken to in a long time, and we talked about this, and all that, you see. And then she brought the light that I knew that was there. But I searched 8 months for it. It was what she called this out exactly as it was. No excuses for her. No excuses for her. It means that I was solely the victim. You see, it was nothing. Because thing is that I've been. I thought this was the way I've been interpreting this. You see, and maybe my interpretation was wrong. Maybe I was trying to avoid constructive criticism, growth from her and all her on her end and all that. Maybe I was just offended because it hurt my ego or something. But none of those were true. All those feelings are valid. So let me tell you, if someone criticizes you and it's not constructive and it hurts you, then what you're feeling is valid. So you must stand up for yourself. That's what I learned. You must stand up for yourself, right? I don't care, how the victim takes it. No, sorry, how the abuser takes it. If your abuser, reacts negatively to your comeback or resistance, or to you speaking up, then that's on them. What's on you is that you spoke up. You see, because your mental health, right, is more important than than the status of the relationship. You see, no relationship is perfect. You see, so and two partners and two parties, right, in the relationship have to respect each other's feelings, or otherwise just pack up and leave. So, anyways, so it's emotional abuse, right, is really insidious. You see, so my friend told me that this was emotional abuse. And I was so relieved. I was so relieved that this was like what I needed, like a turning point in my story, you see? So what she told me was, everything, she pointed out everything, used my insecurities against me because she was insecure herself. And she told me she wanted to keep me in a relationship because she was insecure. And and then she said, and then she'll say it's normal and all that, the insecurities, my insecurities. And that and then when I call her out in it, she'll say, oh, but I'll never do it again. Ex- Accuracy, bullseye. So I'm forever indebted to her, my friend, about for giving me this validation. You see, so there is hope out there, guys. There is hope out there. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Every day is a step forward, right? So yeah, and anyways, so after that, then I start to connect the dots. It's like Steve Jobs say, you can only connect the dots looking backward. You see, you can't connect the dots looking forward, only backwards. So I connected them looking backwards, and I realized that she was just scared of another breakup. You see, of losing another boyfriend. You see, going through another breakup, and I don't know what she was insecure about, and frankly, I do not care. Because as a victim, why should you care about your abuser's insecurities, right? Why should you care that she's insecure? Hmm? She hid it from me, said that she was insecure. She was honest about everything, but she was not insecure. But even if she did hide it, right? I observed that she had been acting strange when it came to because remember we were in a long distance relationship, and we're in a long distance relationship, and um we're talking about so we're in a long distance relationship, and so I think she was insecure about me dating another girl while we're in a relationship, you see. So and she showed that, you see, even though that one tries so hard to hide something, eventually they will show something knowing they don't know it. So So what I think that that was what was what her insecurity was, being broken up with again, someone cheating on her again. Yeah, and so yeah, I didn't cheat on her and anything. Yeah, but she, I kind of understand where she's coming from. But what she did, the emotional abuse part is just not okay at all. It is inexcusable. So I, want to tell you that, you know, abuse can happen in a relationship even when it looks perfect, because everyone has, some skeletons to hide in their closets, and and thing is that, even if, you know you know paint that closet, right, in a very good way, or maybe, put clothes in front of that, skeleton, hide it at the back, then eventually, when you take those clothes, you'll see bones. So this is so that, the bones did reveal, even though she did not know that she was revealing them, and I could see it, but I just kept quiet about it. You see, maybe it's because she's just jealous, and this is common. I see this on social media everywhere, romantic movies, that the person partner getting jealous because she loves me so much that she doesn't want me to see with me with other, women. You see, so yeah. Um, So there you have it, huh? So the thing is that in relationships, you must emotional abuse does happen, can happen in relationship. It doesn't mean that it must happen or that it should happen. It can happen, and when it does, please point it out. Like, it's easy to point out physical abuse, but emotional abuse, aka psychological or mental abuse, is more insidious. Like, the abuser does may not know that they're doing it, and you may not know that you are emotionally abused, and this really affects your mental health in the long run. So you must see the red flags, right? You must keep your eye open for red flags. You see, in your relationships, so that you can not, instead of leaving her or him, you may tell your partner to you may tell your partner about these red flags, you see, and so that she can address them. You can both address them if you want, but you must, and maybe she may point out the red flags in you too. We all have blind spots. So yes, yes, how to know you're in an abusive relationship. Find the red flags. If she hurts you, if he or she hurts you, whether in any way, right, emotionally, mentally, physically, then please call it out. If they persist, then please call please report, right, maybe go to a psychologist or something, and all that. So yes, what I wanted to do was to raise awareness on more awareness on emotional abuse, that it is a silent killer. You see, yeah, it's not obvious. It's really insidious. It happens without you knowing. Even it'll take you like years before knowing that that was emotional abuse. Huh. So yes, happy Valentine's Day, guys. But nonetheless, right? You guys may be in positive relationships. You see, but keep out for those red flags. No one's perfect. So yeah. So the only way to treat cancer is to treat it early, right? Happy Valentine's Day, guys.